Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, born Ellen Eugenia Johnson, is a Liberian politician who served as the 24th President of Liberia from 2006 to 2018. Sirleaf was the first elected female head of state in Africa.
I had to form a very strong team with the capacity to address the challenges of our nation. And I wanted to put women in all top positions.
In this video, we shall discuss the biography of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Sirleaf was born in Monrovia on 29 October 1938 to a Gola father and a Kru German mother. She was educated at the College of West Africa, a preparatory school from 1948 to 1955. She married James Sirleaf when she was 17 years old. The couple had 4 sons together, and she was primarily occupied as a homemaker. Early on in their marriage, James worked for the Department of Agriculture, and Sirleaf worked as a bookkeeper for an auto repair shop. She traveled with her husband to the United States in 1961 to continue her education and earn an associate degree in accounting at Madison Business College in Madison, Wisconsin. When they returned to Liberia, James continued his work in the Agricultural Department, and Sirleaf pursued a career in the Treasury Department, Ministry of Finance. They divorced in 1961 because of James's abuses. Sirleaf returned to college to finish her bachelor's degree. In 1970, she earned a Bachelor of Art in Economics from the Economic Institute of the University of Colorado, where she also spent a summer preparing for graduate studies. Sirleaf studied economics and public policy at the Harvard School from 1969 to 1971, earning a Master of Public Administration. She then returned to Liberia to work in William Tobert's government as Deputy Minister of Finance from 1971 to 1974. Later, she worked again in the West for the World Bank in the Caribbean and Latin America. In 1979, she received a cabinet appointment as Minister of Finance, serving to 1980. While working at Citibank, Sirleaf returned to Liberia in 1985 to run for vice president under Jackson Doe on the ticket of the Liberian Action Party in the 1985 elections. However, Sirleaf was placed under house arrest in August 1985 and soon after sentenced to 10 years in prison for seduction as a consequence of a speech in which she insulted the members of the Samuel Doe regime. Following international calls for her release, Samuel Doe pardoned and released her in September. Due to government pressure, she was removed from the presidential ticket and instead ran as a Senate seat in Montserrado County. In the 1985 elections, Samuel Doe and the National Democratic Party won the presidency and large majorities in both houses. The elections were widely condemned as neither free nor fair. Sirleaf was declared the winner of her Senate race, but she refused to accept the seat in protest of the election fraud. After an attempted coup against Doe's government on 12 November 1985, Sirleaf was arrested and imprisoned again on 13 November by Doe's forces. Despite continuing to refuse to accept her seat in the Senate, she was released in July 1986. She secretly fled the country to the United States later that year. At the beginning of the First Liberian Civil War in 1989, Sirleaf supported Charles Taylor's rebellion against Doe. She helped raise money for the war and founded the National Patriotic Front of Liberia with Taylor. Because of this, those government recommended that Sirleaf be banned from politics in Liberia for 30 years. But she later opposed Taylor's handling of the war and his treatment of rival opposition leaders such as Jackson Doe. By 1996, the presence of the ECOWAS peacekeepers led to a cessation of hostilities. The nation held the 1997 general election, which Sirleaf returned to Liberia to contest. She ran as the presidential candidate for the Unity Party and placed second in the controversial election, getting 25% of the vote to Charles Taylor's 75%. After controversy about the results and being accused of treason, Sirleaf left Liberia and went into exile in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. Sirleaf stood for president as the candidate of the Unity Party in the 2005 general election. She placed second in the first round of voting behind George Weah, a former footballer. In the subsequent runoff election, Sirleaf earned 59% of the vote versus 40% for Weah, though Weah disputed the results. The announcement of the new leader was postponed until further election investigations were carried out. On 23 November 2005, Sirleaf was declared the winner of the Liberian election and confirmed as the country's next president and the first woman to be elected as president of an African country. Her inauguration took place on 16 January 2006. She won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2011 in recognition of her effort to bring women into the peacekeeping process. She has received numerous other awards for her leadership. In June 2016, Sirleaf was elected as the chair of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, making her the first woman to hold the position since it was created.